On the 2nd of October 1942, the troop ship named the Grey Ghost had caught up with her escort vessel, the Curacoa, and was overtaking her off the coast of Ireland. Both vessels were actively zigzagging at a high rate of speed to avoid Nazi U-boats. Aboard the Curacoa, Seaman Ernest Watson was admiring the Grey Ghost's majestic lines when he noticed the bow was swinging towards them. To his horror, she continued to swing and was soon on a direct collision course. Watson finally found his vocal cords and screamed, "She's going to ram us!" Later, Watson described how many of his mates had been so shocked they couldn't move. Within seconds, there was a screech of twisted metal, followed by the hiss of steam and the screams of those injured or trapped below. The Grey Ghost, 20 times larger than the cruiser Curacoa, had been traveling at a top speed of 28.5 knots. The impact swung the Curacoa broadside, and the troop ship sliced through her 10-centimeter armor plating. It was all over in seconds, leaving the Curacoa cut in two, with the fore and aft ends divided by a 100-meter strip of open ocean. At the moment of impact, as the Curacoa reeled in the water, Watson and many other seamen on deck were thrown into the freezing water. Even as they surfaced, they watched in horror as the stern quickly sank, taking with it men trapped behind the watertight doors. The forward section followed soon after, leaving the men in the murky water surrounded by debris, oil, and drowned or mutilated bodies. It was every man for himself as survivors clung to floating wreckage. They were about 20 nautical miles off the Irish coast without lifeboats or rafts. The floating survivors believed that the Grey Ghost would turn back to pick them up. It was with obvious despair when they watched her disappear over the horizon. The captain of the Grey Ghost was obeying strict wartime orders that under no circumstances was he to stop until the Queen Mary had safely delivered the troops on board. He stated later that it was one of the hardest decisions he ever had to make in his entire life. On that tragic day, 329 personnel lost their lives, and only 99 survived.
There have been reports of strange creatures in the area.
Witnesses say they couldn't believe what they were seeing.
Welcome, beloved fofers, doubters, naysayers, non-believers, and skeptics. Welcome to Paranormal Fable or Fact. I am Victor Trevino, joined by my co-host and beautiful wife, Tammy.
We are your humble guides to tales of alleged hoaxes, unbelievable stories, and the overall strange.
If you want your story on our show, send us an email at pfableorfact@proton.me. The rules and the rules for debunkers are in the show notes, as usual. Like, give us a good review, hit the notification bell, and subscribe. It's the easiest way to support us other than sharing the show. If you share the show, just, throw a post on your social media, tell a friend, call somebody on the phone and tell them about us. Anything you can do, anything helps. If you want to support us just a little bit more, you can become a patron of the show and get your name in our credits. And a huge thank you to all of our patrons. You guys are making the show possible and making it possible for Tammy and I to upgrade and just make the show better.
Thank you for your support.
Special thanks to all of you. As always, our appreciation goes out to our veterans, our troops, and our first responders. God be with you all and yours. And just for knowledge's sake, if you are listening to our show on a podcast platform, remember you have to download the show, otherwise we don't get credit. If you stream it, we don't get credit. I'm not sure why. Some podcast players automatically download it so you don't have to worry about it, but if it doesn't, then try to make sure that you download our show. It really helps out. Now, the question for the yay or nay contest is, do you think the Queen Mary could actually be haunted? Give us a yay or nay in the comments, and we will get you a sticker, and we will post your name in the show. This show is called Gray Ghost, and we're going to be talking about the RMS Queen Mary. Now, that's the first thing I did. I kept seeing, every time I was doing my research, it kept coming up RMS, RMS, RMS. Well, it stands for Royal Mail Ship, or in the past, it stood for Royal Mail Steamer. It's a prestigious maritime prefix given to seagoing vessels that were officially contracted by the British Royal Mail to transport mail overseas. Having RMS in the ship's name was a mark of high quality, guaranteed speed and punctuality, as the vessels were required to meet very strict schedules. So I guess you had to pass these tests to get that or whatever. You know, they gave you these standards and then you had to meet them constantly, and then you're given that title as a vessel. The Queen Mary was a masterpiece at the time of its construction of engineering, and I'm not even joking about that. It has a colorful history and has been shrouded in paranormal activity for decades. I didn't know even when they were underway and she was still running, workers were reporting paranormal activity. The men down in the bow would hear whistling, they'd hear singing, they'd hear all kinds of crazy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Tammy and I took my parents to the RMS Queen Mary about 15 years ago. You know, it's docked now. It doesn't have any engines. It's just docked. And we stayed the night there. Of course, since we did, we absolutely had to go on the haunted tour that they offer, and we absolutely loved it. We had a really good time on the ship with good food, good drinks, and actually experienced some possible paranormal activity firsthand.
Yes, we did.
Are we going to go into it right now? Heck no. You're going to have to stick around for
You
it.
gotta stick around to listen.
Yeah, and we'll tell our stories after we go through some of this stuff.
Oh, but this Queen Mary is one of my favorite places to go to.
Oh, yeah. Okay, this is a discussion show.
Okay.
So there's not going to be any inarguable truths. We're just talking about stuff. But I think this show needs a disclaimer. Some of the lore and the background on board are pretty dark, and some of them are kind of violent, so viewer discretion advised. Now, during World War II, the RMS Queen Mary had been painted solid battleship gray and was transporting thousands of American troops back and forth to Europe when she caught up with the escort vessel, the Curacoa. The massive liner suffered significant damage to its bow. We're talking about the intro. It basically just cut the other ship in half.
Right.
They managed to limp the Queen Mary to Gourock, Scotland, where workers poured 70 tons of cement into the breach to temporarily fix it, to plug up any holes.
Right.
Then it sailed to Boston for full structural repairs. So it had some massive damage done to it.
Wow.
Now, I'm thinking 70 tons of cement? What?
Well, yeah, because it had to get all those repairs done if it sinks, because it's going across the pond. That's a dangerous part.
Right.
Going from Europe to our east side of the States.
But I was thinking maybe it would unbalance it. 70 tons of concrete on the
they
front?
know what they're doing.
But there's the thing. She was driven, the Queen Mary, when she was running, she was driven by 4 massive manganese bronze propeller. The final set weighed 32 tons each for a total of 128 tons, and they were balanced so perfectly that you could spin them by hand.
Wow. That's amazing.
Just the propellers are 128 tons, so 70 tons of concrete, nothing.
Yeah.
That's what
exactly.
that's what I was thinking. I was like, 70 tons of cotton. You know how much that is?
Right.
So anyway, now I didn't know this, but the Gray Ghost nickname was given to her by the Nazis. I thought it was a nickname we gave her. No, the Nazis are the ones. I guess we intercepted their correspondence and stuff that or maybe they admitted it after the war was over and they said, yeah, that we called her the Gray Ghost. But the reason they called her that is because she was so fast, and she was very fast, baby, sailed such elusive routes and was never sunk by their network of U-boats. She was named after Mary of Teck, the queen consort of King George V, often called the Ship of the Woods. Her opulent interiors featured over 50 different types of decorative wood from across the board. From across the globe, at 1,019.5 feet in length and weighing roughly 81,237 gross tons. She was significantly larger and longer than the unsinkable RMS Titanic. I didn't know that. I thought the Titanic was larger. I think most people do. That's why they say that.
Yeah, could be.
But the Queen Mary is actually bigger.
Yeah.
She's a massive. I think they make way bigger ones now. But for that time, because remember, she was still driven by diesel engines. I don't think they use diesel engines anymore.
She holds the record for the most passengers ever transported on a single vessel, carrying 16,683 soldiers and crew in 1943. Throughout the war, she transported over 800,000 troops. Wow.
Yeah.
Reaching top speeds of up to 32.5 knots. She was fast enough to outrun many of the German U-boat torpedoes. Let me say this again. The Queen Mary was fast enough to outrun torpedoes.
Incredible.
That's insane.
So when I said she was fast, she was fast.
Yeah.
They would actually shoot torpedoes at her from a long distance away, and she just...
And as big as she was.
She was flying.
Or as big as she is.
32.5 knots that's nautical miles an hour, which is equivalent to 60 kilometers an hour. That's about 45 miles an hour, I believe.
Wow.
Right. And this is why we're doing the show on it, pretty much. The ship is widely regarded as one of the most haunted places in the world. I didn't know this. I thought it was just, out of other ships and stuff. No, in the world. From the empty first-class swimming pools to the watertight Door 13, visitors frequently report seeing shadowy figures. Thank goodness we didn't see anything like that. Hearing disembodied voices and hearing phantom splashes. The first-class pool area is one of the most active spots for paranormal activity, although it has been drained for decades now. Visitors frequently report hearing the sounds of splashing, crying, and the laughter of a young girl named Jackie, who allegedly drowned there. I kept looking and looking to try to find records of any little girl drowning down there. I couldn't find it, but if you're an ocean liner, cruise ship, high-end cruise ship, that's probably something you'd want to settle out of court and make sure that it wasn't massively known, right, to save the reputation and all that, and right. So that, it's possible something like that happened, or it's possible nothing happened. But when we visited the pool area on the tour, we felt water droplets on us. You remember that?
Yeah, because we thought it was part of the tour, like special effects or something.
There's no water down there. Mm-mm. And it's above water. There's no water running through the ship except for way up above. And I actually felt the drop of water hit my wrist when I was I was reaching for you, or I had my arm around you or something. And remember, it hit, and you felt it too. It hit you. Yeah. And I think my dad felt water hit top of his head or something like that. But anyway, it was just really weird. We thought it was part of the tour.
Right.
We're talking about a video. It's night vision. It's a investigative team, paranormal investigators. They're in the pool changing area, and they're using night vision cameras, so it's pretty dark.
Yeah.
They're panning across the room. I don't know if it's like showers or the locker area, or it was the shower locker area. And you can see out of the corner, next to one of the columns, they just flash by it real quick, but they play it back in slow motion. It's a girl sitting there, and her eyes are glowing strangely in the darkness. It looks like a young girl, maybe a little girl. It's just very odd. It's a very eerie clip.
Yeah. And
you can look up Jackie and Queen Mary on Google, and you can get a bunch of audio clips of people capturing EVPs of giggling and laughing, etc. So what do you think of that crazy video?
I think that Yeah, the picture of the little girl in the video, that's spooky. And did you see her eyes?
Yeah.
But that's not a little girl. That's not a ghost of a little girl. That's some demonic stuff.
You think so?
I think so. The eyes are not friendly.
I haven't heard her scaring anyone or doing anything like malicious.
Oh, so you might think it's residual or something?
That's what I'm leaning towards, yeah. Because even if nobody...
It doesn't bother anybody.
Right. Even if no one actually drowned there, it doesn't mean that there isn't remaining energy left over. Maybe there was a little girl that frequented there so much, she had so many memories there that she never wanted to leave. Cried every time they wanted to leave because she couldn't play in the pool anymore. And that energy somehow disrupted whatever's in there because it's an enclosed space.
Right.
And from what I understand, enclosed spaces harbor more energy. That's why houses get haunted and stuff.
Do you know why they named her Jackie?
Well, I think that goes along the lines with the folklore of a little girl drowned there.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But, I mean, I don't know. Again, there's no historical evidence that a little girl died anywhere on the ship. It doesn't matter when dozens of paranormal investigator groups have recorded a little girl in the pool area. And this idea skeptics saying, it's probably one of their daughters. Yeah, because that's where you take your kids, right? in the bowels of a haunted ship in the middle of the night, right? At midnight.
I would think that the people that work on the ship wouldn't let people do that because
it's too unsafe.
Because it's it's a hotel also,
right?
So they're not gonna play around with kids messing around. You know what I mean?
But remember, the areas we were going to on the haunted tour, they weren't open to the public.
Yeah, they're not open to the public.
So they're dangerous. They're not maintained.
And they have high security. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they have a bunch of people down there escorting you to make sure nobody wanders off and stuff because you could get lost.
Yeah,
the ship's
real strict,
massive.
Remember, they were real strict on the tours.
So, and we went during the day. I think there's like a midnight tour or something they do, and that's what these people had to do. As a matter of fact, I don't even know if that area is open to the public anymore. I think you have to specifically request to go there because structurally it's really unsafe.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, the idea that someone's going to bring a kid down there in the middle of the night it's silly. Now, Jackie is known for her playful and sometimes sorrowful presence. There are frequent reports of hearing a child's voice echoing in the drained pool area. Common accounts include hearing her sing, giggle, call for her mother, or even play peekaboo. So people will see like a little head popping around a corner and then popping back around, popping back out, popping back around.
Wow.
I looked for any kind of footage of anybody capturing something like that because that would be fascinating, but no, I couldn't find it, but people report it. So, Stateroom B340, according to ship lore, because this is one of the more haunted rooms. According to ship lore, a passenger suffering from dementia or a mental break was locked in the cabin and allegedly went on a murderous rampage, eventually being torn apart by an unknown entity. While there is no historical evidence to support this lore, guests and paranormal investigators who have stayed in the cabin report severe, and I thought that was very interesting, they said severe supernatural activity. The most common claims include being awakened in the middle of the night by a shadowy figure standing at the foot of the bed, blankets being violently ripped off, faucets turning on and off by themselves, and unexplained loud banging on the main door. Can you imagine that? No. Trying to sleep in that room?
No.
Somebody's banging on the door, bam, bam, bam. You get up. Who is banging on my door? You get up and check, and there's nobody there.
Yeah.
Then the faucets are turning on and off by themselves? No. But that would be freaked out if you just woke up. See, waking up because someone's looking at you is probably one of the worst ways to wake up.
Yeah.
Because of its notorious reputation, the room was sealed off to the public for over 30 years. Let me say that again. The room was sealed off to the public for over 30 years due to the paranormal activity within it. It has since been reopened for overnight stays and paranormal tours, and is typically staged with a Ouija board, tarot cards, and a crystal ball in the room for visitors to use.
Oh, heck no.
Why you would want to do that, I don't know. But I think it's, it's probably like a, what do they call them, package or whatever?
Yeah, oh yeah, probably.
And it's probably got a long waiting list and everything else, but they do offer it.
I wouldn't have any 3 of those objects on that ship with me.
No, I'd say you're going to have to take these out of here.
Yeah.
I'm not sleeping with
And
it.
I'd be bringing holy water with me.
Yes. And a crucifix. And a statue of Jesus. And a Bible. And a rosary. So we're going to move on to stateroom B474. According to local legends and ghost tours on the RMS Queen Mary in Long Beach, California, room B474, often referred to as room 474, is famously haunted by a tragic family. According to folklore, in 1959, a distraught father murdered his wife and 2 young daughters by strangling them in their beds before taking his own life in the suite's bathroom. While this story has become a cornerstone of the ship's haunted legacy, historians and ship chroniclers have found no historical or maritime records, such as police reports, coroner logs, or passenger manifests confirming a murder-suicide actually occurred in this stateroom. In fact, during the ship's active sailing career as a luxury ocean liner, there was no stateroom designated as B474.
Oh, that's interesting.
So, how did the room get so haunted? What's going on? What are we talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Since nobody passed away in there, nobody took their own life in there, what's happening? Because there's still a lot of paranormal activity reported in the room, despite what the records say. Now, this is probably one of the most interesting ones, because this is actually documented. Watertight door number 13, located in the lower engine room of the RMS Queen Mary, is infamously linked to the tragic death of an 18-year-old crew member named John Petter. On July 10, 1966, the 18-year-old fireman was crushed there during a drill when the heavy watertight door closed on him. It remains one of the most actively haunted locations on the ship. People investigating the area have reported finding greasy, unexplained handprints, experiencing sudden, inexplicable drops in temperature, and receiving inexplicable scratches. Other frequent reports include hearing distant knocks, metallic clanging, like a wrench striking a metal door, and mysterious footsteps. The actual door number 13 involved in the accident was removed when the ship was converted into a hotel, and the immediate area is now an escalator. However, a door labeled 13 is still shown to visitors on the ghost tours and other paranormal walks. So the actual area, it's still that area, but it's
Right.
the door's no longer there.
Right.
But in my opinion, that wouldn't matter, because the energy's still there. It doesn't matter what you do with the door, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if someone took their own life and you take the rope away from the tree could still be haunted. Doesn't matter if the implement that they used, or if they put a gun to their head or whatever, you know what I mean? Not to get too gruesome, but you find the gun and take it away, the person's soul could still be there is what I'm saying. So whether they took the door away or not doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. But they have a little door there for the tour so people can see it.
Right.
And people see what it was, because I think it is an airtight door, right? We saw it.
Yes.
But anyway, moving on. And that one's fascinating to me because it was documented.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Victor and I stayed on the Queen Mary, like we said earlier, and we took his parents. The night before we went and had a really good time, and then the next morning we were going to go have brunch and meet up with his parents. Our room was down the hall, probably about 4 rooms, maybe 5 rooms.
Yeah.
About 4 or 5 rooms apart, and we were down the hall. So we get ready and we're leaving our room. As we leave our room, we look down the hall and we see my father-in-law and my mother-in-law.
Way down the hall.
Like way by where the guest, what's it called? Where you go to the desk? The front desk. Mm-hmm. By the front desk. Now, Victor's dad has a one-of-a-kind wave that he does, that everybody knows it's him if you see him, right? So we see my in-laws, and there's dad waving at us, and I'm like, oh, there they are, and they go off to the right down another hallway. So we start walking towards them.
Because that area was like a sitting, well, we thought it was like a sitting area because it kind of widened up. It was like a long hall, and then it widened up to the left, widened out to the left. You could see it widening out.
Right.
And there was like steps on the other side or something where you
Right.
could go down. So we figured our parents were looking for a place to sit. They were going to wait for us to walk all the way down there to them.
And so we go down there. I see Dad, and Dad's in a real nice shirt, and his shirt was black and white. So they went off to the right, and then we go down the hall to the right, and they're not there.
And there wasn't even a place to sit. It was just like an empty area.
Yeah, just an empty area. And I said, Victor, those were your parents, right? And Victor goes, yeah, I saw them.
We saw both of them.
We saw both of them. So then Victor pulls out his phone, calls his dad, and his dad says, no, mijo, we're still in the room. You know, we got a little bit of room service and we stayed in the room. So we go back.
And we had to walk all the way
all
back
the way
because it
back
was
to
far.
the room. Yeah. We walked all the way back to the room, knocked on the door, and my father-in-law, Dad, he opens the door wearing the same shirt. Let me say that again. The same shirt.
Yep.
Chills went up just chills all over.
That
And I
was
was like,
really
what in
weird.
the world?
Really weird. So while we went to brunch with my parents, and they're telling us what had happened in their room the night before. They were kept awake by excessively loud, we'll say, activities between man and woman next door. I mean, the woman, they were both like just making all kinds of noise, banging, the bangings on the wall, the rhythmic stuff, and the screaming at the top of their, just like, almost like what appeared to my parents as they were trying to annoy my parents.
Yeah, they were over-exaggerating.
Yeah, it was almost like they were trying, like banging on that wall that, that divides the rooms and stuff. And they're just hooting and hollering over there, making all kinds of noise. And it went on for like over an hour.
Hooting, hollering.
Yeah, they're just carrying on in there, having a good old time or whatever. So my dad actually lost his temper and went next door and banged on the door. Banged on the door, banged on the door. No one answered, and the racket continued. So my dad finally went over there and yelled through the door, hey, knock it off. People are trying to sleep. What's wrong with you? Banged on the door some more. So the next morning they called to complain, which my parents rarely do. My dad's more of a hands-on, kind of handle it himself kind of guy,
Yeah.
And the person at the desk told them no one had been booked in that room. So when they're talking it over with us, they said, well, yeah, it was probably just some staff members. But I pointed out, well, why would they be so loud?
Right.
Because if you're on the clock and
Yeah,
you're supposed to be
you
working,
get caught.
there ain't no way you're having over an hour, 2-hour break,
Yeah, no.
So even if you were clocked out or whatever, you can't be doing that stuff and disturbing guests. You're going to get caught. So why would they do that?
Right.
It didn't make any sense. And that was their stay. And I think they said something with the faucet. I had a friend that stayed there, and he said that they had, the room he stayed in, they had the old antique faucet, the twist ones.
Beautiful.
And it had the hot and cold on it, right?
Right.
So his wife's in there, and she's like yelling for him because she got the cold water on, and she turned it off, and she's like yelling for him, and he goes in there, and he's like, what's wrong? She goes, I can't turn the hot water on, and the faucet was missing. So it was just a screw, like where you screw it on there. And they're like, well, what the heck? So he's trying to call the front desk, and I guess it was really busy because it just kept ringing and ringing and ringing. And they both are sitting there. She's sitting on the bed. He's on the phone kind of pacing in front of the door. And they both hear this boom, boom, like this distinctive heavy drop on the carpet. They both turn right next to the bed, and the faucet's laying there.
Oh, no.
And they're both
no.
okay, where did that just drop from?
Oh, my gosh.
And they're looking at each other going, well, wasn't that because he got angry at her because he thought, oh, no, I'm sorry. She got angry at him because she thought he was pranking her. Because when they checked out the bathrooms, she made a comment on it. Oh, look at how beautiful.
Because they are beautiful.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
They are.
They have like ivory and stuff on them, don't
the
they?
ivory and like copper or gold plating.
Yeah, really, really beautiful. The faucets. So she commented on them, oh, look how beautiful they were. So they both looked at him and both saw that the faucet was there before she went to take a shower. So she was blaming him. But when it dropped like that,
Out of the blue.
Out of the blue. And they both heard it drop, like somebody dropped it from a, distance in the air. They freaked out, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the last stories we're going to tell is actually, no, we have 2 more stories to tell. But during the haunted tour, we were led to the mostly empty engine room. One of the terms for America to buy the Queen Mary from the UK was that they had to take the engines out. I'm not sure why. It was something with so that we couldn't use it for war or something. I don't know. So basically what you have is this massive room where like 6 massive diesel engines used to be stored. And now it's just a big empty room, big empty space in there. And they basically gutted. They had this big screen, white screen hanging down from the ceiling, massive. And they're showing what the engine room looked like back in the day. And, they're telling facts about it, how fast the ship was and all this. And we're watching this movie. When he sent us in there, the tour guide said, go ahead, you're going to go in there, stand there. You can stand right with this, there's like a yellow dot in the middle of the room or something. Right. And he goes, just stand by the yellow dot and the movie will start in a couple of minutes. He goes, I don't go in that room.
Yeah.
And we're all looking at him like, well, what do you mean you don't go in the room? He goes, I don't go in that room anymore. So we're like, oh yeah, whatever. Yeah. Whatever, dude. Part of the tour, right? Yeah. We're elbowing each other in the ribs. Yeah, whatever. So we're watching the movie and we keep getting disturbed because somebody is banging very loudly above us, like, what was it, like 2 stories above us at least?
Yeah, 2 or 3.
More like 3, huh?
Yeah, it was about 3.
And there's like a light up there. And to me, it seemed like one of those old work lights that used to have the hooks, with the metal behind it, and it would aim in one direction like a light bulb, and they would hang it up. It had that electric yellow glow. That's what it seemed like to me, something like that. And it sounds like somebody's like just taking this heavy wrench or something and just banging on the steel, bam, 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 over and over again, like this loud clanging sound. I'm like, what is that? I'm looking at my dad, and my dad's looking at me, and we're all looking at each other. So anyway, the movie finishes, and I go outside, and, he's telling us some more stuff, and we're going to the next area during the tour. And I asked the guy, I said, hey, man, what are they working on in there? He goes, there's nobody in there. I go, no, we saw the light, we heard the clanging. Yeah. And, that was the other thing, the light went off.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
In the middle of the movie. So he pokes his head in and goes, look all around the room. He goes, we took out all the catwalks. There's no way to get up there. And I'm like, what? There's no way to get up there. Whole area's been sealed off. It's empty. So I'm like looking at him, and I could tell by the look on his face he was serious. He wasn't trying to scare us.
Yeah.
So that was really weird. On the same tour, one of the staff told us the story of a woman sitting calmly in the chair right in the middle of the room in front of everyone. Nobody really noticed her, except that she was wearing like old clothing. Remember, she had like a little hat on and
yeah.
But she was like an older lady, so nobody paid her any mind. And as they're telling the story, I believe that it might have been in that room 474. Yeah. But anyway, as he's telling the story about the room, she slowly begins to rise out of the chair in front of everyone. Everyone's screaming. Everyone's like clawing to get their way out of the room. This was before times of cell phones, so people couldn't just whip out their phone and start filming. But she basically rose out of the chair and vanished into the ceiling in front of over a dozen people. Then, in the same tour again, they told us another story where they were in B340, and there were different tour guides, weren't they? Yeah. Different tour guides that specialized in those areas or whatever. Yeah. So we're in stateroom B340, and he's telling this story. It was a night tour, right? It was one of those midnight tours, and he's telling the story of the room, and this young couple were being all loud and stupid. They had a little too much to drink. They were, falling, kind of staggering and slurring their words, and they were just annoying everybody in the room. Yeah, because they were ridiculing and joking about it. Yeah, they were making fun of his story. Too much of a joke, the whole story. Right, they were laughing at everything being rude and obnoxious. Well, there's a huge heavy metal door dividing the two rooms, and as they're like laughing and joking, and he's like going over to the door because they said that the guy was telling him that door is rumored to open and close by itself. He goes over there, I'll show you it open, close by itself. And as he's walking over there drunkenly, the door slammed so hard that it shook the entire room. Everybody like cried out because it was so violent. It just went bam, scaring everybody half to death. That drunk couple left pretty quick. He said they just scrammed out of the room after that. They were both shocked that the door did that. I think that probably sobered him up pretty quick, I would think. Because had he gone anywhere near that door and it slammed on him like that, they're metal doors.
Yeah.
I mean, that'll bust you up, you know?
Yeah.
So that about does it. Let's get to the summary.
Okay.
I think that with the horrible deaths surrounding the Queen Mary, the wartime exposure, and even some accidental deaths on board, or even possibly covered up deaths that may have happened when it was in its prime, you know?
Right.
I think that's a high probability. There's a lot of negative energy there.
Yeah.
So the idea that it can't be haunted, or people are making stuff up, or they're just doing it for a tour, I don't know. Because this, like I said, the stories went back all the way when she was underway.
Right.
When she was like still in operation, so.
And the tour guides seem very emotional and very, very genuine, you know? And I mean,
Right.
they could be actors for all we know, but who knows, man?
And remember, we went to the Winchester house.
Yes.
And everybody there was like the same way. They were like giving it, you know,
Very
all these, saying all
monotone.
these.
Yeah, the same stories.
Kind of story, you know, the
Yeah.
haunted stuff about Winchester, trying to make it interesting, but there was a difference. To me, it seemed like they were reading a script.
Yes.
Like they were told to say something.
Yeah.
Plus, later we found out at the Winchester house that a lot of the haunting reports came after she had already passed away. Remember, because we were going to do a show on it.
Yeah.
The Queen Mary, no, their stories were all unique.
Right.
There's stories, like the story that the guy told us with the lady rising out of the chair, I couldn't find that anywhere online.
Right.
So that just happened to him personally, and he only told the story to people that went on his tours.
Right.
Is the only explanation.
And do you remember at the desk, at the front desk, they had like a journal where you could put in
Your encounters,
your
yeah.
encounters in there. And
Yeah.
then the girl at the front desk said the other part that's haunted is Churchill's suite. Remember? And that was in the front of the hotel. So a lot of the employees were telling different stories.
Yeah. It wasn't, to me, it didn't seem scripted. It looked, their unease and their hesitance to like enter certain areas.
Yeah.
They were very quiet, very respectful. Like they
Yeah.
didn't want to tick anything
Right.
off.
Yeah.
It appeared genuine.
Yeah, especially our tour guy. He was a
my
good
opinion.
guy. He didn't seem like something would scare him.
And yeah, that scared the crap out of him. He was the one that told us about the door, I believe.
Yeah, he is.
So in conclusion, baby, what do you think about the Queen Mary?
I love the Queen Mary. But it's not just the haunted part. I like the ambiance of it. Like when you go to the buffet breakfast, there's a woman with a harp. And it just stays in that time. It's like you're in a time capsule. And like the bar's like real 40s, 50s vibe, you know? And it's just like, it makes you want to have like a dirty martini or an old fashioned.
Yeah.
It's such a cool experience. I mean, the haunted part is cherry on top, but it's so beautiful. The ship is beautiful. And at that time, they had Princess Diana's dresses there and china.
Her jewelry and stuff,
and her jewelry. So, and that stuff has, you know, because we all know Princess died, that could have some kind of energy. So yeah, it's if you're ever in California, go to Long Beach, go check it out.
It's just a beautiful ship. Even though a lot of it's been stripped, there's still a lot of the carpet and the woods and all that. It's beautiful, even though it's old. I mean, it's almost 100 years old now. It's like 90 years old. It was commissioned in like 1936.
Yeah,
so,
it's beautiful.
So don't forget the question for the Yay or Nay contest. Do you think the Queen Mary can actually be haunted? Give us a yay or nay in the comments. That will give you a congratulations in the show, and we will try to get you a sticker if you give us your address. That about does it, baby.
Well, that's about it. I just wanted to tell you guys that we are preparing for our Halloween show. So if you got some good Halloween stories, send it our way so we can do a show on that. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your support, and we'll see you guys next time. Good night.
Good night, everybody.